Welcome back, Movie Misfits, and today I'm going to be doing a review on Promising Young Woman, starring Carey Mulligan, Laverne Cox, Clancy Brown, and Bo Burnham. Just to name a few. In this film, Carey Mulligan plays Cassandra, a woman that was traumatized in her past, and now she's seeking revenge on those that were involved in this past. So all in all, this is a film about revenge. So the character Cassandra has basically two personalities. By day, she's a very sarcastic and off-putting character, and she works at a coffee shop, and makes you wonder how this coffee shop makes any money if she's so sarcastic and rude to customers. But by night, she plays a drunk, sexy girl, and basically tries to lure the men that traumatized her way back when, so she could take her revenge. The acting in this film is very good. Carey Mulligan plays the character very well. You can tell that the character that she's portraying is dealing with a lot. She's very traumatized of what took place. We kind of don't know exactly what the events were. We kind of get a rough idea. Like I said, there's no real straight out answer to it. So it's kind of a mystery. So you kind of have to just use your imagination to what happened. It's kind of hard to do a review of this movie without going into spoilers. So basically in this universe, every guy's a turd. Every guy's a douche. There's no portion in this movie where they go into song and start singing. And surprisingly, the one only decent character is her father, played by Clancy Brown, of all people. As the movie goes along, she actually lets the barriers down, the wall comes down, and we actually get to see some character development out of her. She's not just sarcastic, she's not just shooing customers away basically with her attitude, and we actually get to see the character smile, we actually get to see her grow. There are many points in the movie where she's frustrated and she doesn't know what to do, because she's basically had her mindset on taking this revenge on all these people that had done wrong to her. However, other supporting characters are kind of telling her, hey, you got to move on with your life, you're just frozen in time, and she basically can't let it all go. Like I said, the acting in this film is very good. The cinematography, the camera angles, even the color scheme in this movie is very good. The best way for me to describe the color palette in this movie is if the Mother's Animal Circus cookies were a filter on the camera. That's like the best way I could describe it. And I mean that in a positive way, because the color schemes are just so, they kind of pop out and they look very good in this film. And yeah, it kind of just reminded me of those cookies. My one only real complaint about this movie is everything is a mystery in this film. We kind of don't know actually the events that took place. We get an idea of it. Like I said, you have to use your imagination, so you're kind of suggesting what might have took place. You don't know all the parties that are involved in this movie that took place at this event. We don't necessarily know. We get an idea, but we don't know to what effect each character was in this film, except for maybe two. So for me, I should say, the more questions I started to ask, the more little plot holes I started to find. If you go into this movie and basically don't ask any questions, just go into it, take it for what it is. Because I feel like if you do ask questions, and reasonable questions I will say, you'll just start discovering plot holes, you'll start discovering like, well, that doesn't make sense, or how does this come into play? Because this movie needs these things to happen so the story can happen. Without those things, the story can't happen. And I feel like if you ask these questions, you're going to be like, well, this movie isn't that smart. This movie isn't that much of a masterpiece. I've basically seen this before. It's nothing new. This movie has its head up its own butt. The best part of the movie, and I won't go into any spoilers on the details, is the ending of the movie. Without that ending, this movie's kind of like whatever. I will say without that ending, the ending basically makes the movie. I'm not going to go into details on what the ending is, because without that ending, this movie's nothing. I would say this movie would be very forgettable without that. If anyone's followed my channel, I've done lots of reviews on revenge films already this year. So this one would be a little different in the sense of the character Cassandra. She's not killing Bill. She's not spitting on anyone's grave. She's not seeking revenge like the movie The Revenge. So this one's different, I will say. But it's not any of those movies, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I do think it's funny, though, since Margot Robbie is one of the producers of this film, I feel like her contribution to this film was, hey, I'm going to loan you a Harley Quinn wig for this scene. So like I said, as far as the things I didn't like, nothing was really answered. You had more questions. I didn't like the title. I thought the title was kind of weak. I always change the title when I talk about this movie, so instead of saying Promising Young Woman, I'm like Promising Young Ninja Assassin, just because I don't like the title. If I was to give Promising Young Woman a grade, I would give it an S for Men Are Scum. Just kidding, but that's basically what the movie's telling you throughout this movie. I would give Promising Young Woman a B-. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, and I'll see you at the movies.
Get more out of life.